This is Lemoore City Council Chambers, 429 C Street. Today is May 18th, 2021. Please silence all electronic devices as a courtesy of those in attendance. Thank you. This is going to be our 6:30 study session, SS-1 2020 Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department Annual Report. Mr. Bruce German.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members. It's going to be hard for me. I've known Stuart since he was 10 years old, and I hate to call him Mr. Mayor. Officer Cheney, known you since I've been in the fire department for about 30 years, so it's awful hard to address you that way also. Nothing personal. This is my 2020 annual fire report. I know you guys all have copies of it, and I see it up here on the board also. But as the Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department is comprised of 32 volunteers, 10 of which are certified emergency medical technicians. 24 of us hold their firefighter 1 certificate, and 19 hold their firefighter 1 and 2 certificate, an increase of 11 since 2018. Currently, we have 8 firefighters attending the EMT program and will complete in May of this year. LVFD strives to provide the community with the best fire protection service possible. In 2020, the Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department responded to a total of 2,079 incidents. The charts below show a breakdown of the incident calls for 2020. You guys can see the, the pie, how it's split up there. You go over to the next sheet, it's actually broke down on the back side of that. It's actually broke down into the individual calls, what they were. It's all in the fires. We had building fires, we had cooking fires, we had outside rubbish fires, dumpsters fires, et cetera. Hazardous condition is combustible gas. Basically, it's propane tank or something like that. Wires down, just kind of all oddball stuff. Service calls, again, it's a water problem, water leak. A lot of times the person has run over water spigot or whatever in their yard, or city has used a fire hydrant and won't close. Good intent and canceled. It's 1,088 of them. So that was actually half of them. We were dispatched and canceled. Fumes mistaken for gas, smoke scare, odor of smoke. One thing about smoke, it'll travel for 10 or 12 miles. They could be burning a haystack in Riverdale and we could smell it here. False alarms, pretty self-explanatory there also. Next page, which would be page 3, it says the following table highlights the average number of volunteers responding to each incident. Fire calls, we averaged 16, medical was 11, hazardous conditions 10, service call was 10, canceled good intent 14, false alarm was 9, special incident or other was 17. In addition to responding to incidents, LVFD had to modify the mandatory drill meetings to stagger crews to meet the COVID-19 guidelines. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, the majority of public service activities were canceled or postponed. The public service activities we were able to participate in included National Night Out, the drive-through Christmas parade, Zoom fire station tours, Zoom Read Across America, tribute to healthcare workers with Adventist Health, and numerous drive-by birthday parties. With the increase in response to medical calls and the COVID-19 restrictions and guidelines, LVFD was able to adapt and overcome this pandemic. Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department takes pride in the ability to serve the great community that is Lemoore and appreciate the opportunity to do so. Respectfully submitted, Bruce German, Fire Chief. And I will just say right now, I looked on the board right now, we are averaging, for the first 4 months of 21, we're averaging 167 calls a month. So we're already kind of ahead of where we were last year. We usually gain about 175 to 100 calls a year. And any questions, comments?
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
I just want to say that in my years of living in Lemoore, I've only needed your service once. And those that responded were very professional,
Well, good.
capable, glad that they were there. So just thank you guys for being there and everything that you do for the community.
Sure. Great. Thank you.
Very much appreciated.
Okay. Thanks all of you.
Yeah, I'd like to say that I think you guys are outstanding. I really. really appreciate all of you guys
Yeah.
very much.
Well, thank you for that, Mr. Mayor. Anybody else?
You got it. There you go.
No.
There you go. You got it.
Okay. See you
All
guys.
right, Bruce.
Be back in a
Thanks,
couple
Chief.
hours.
Okay, so moving on to closed session. This item is set aside for city council to meet in closed session to discuss matters pursuant to government code section 54956.9D4. The city attorney will provide an oral report regarding the closed session at the beginning of the next regular city council meeting. 1, conference with labor negotiator, government code section 54957.6, agency designated representatives, Mary Lerner, city attorney, and Michelle Spear, assistant city manager. Employee organizations, General Association of Service Employees, Lemoore Police Officers Association, Lemoore Police Sergeants Unit, Police Professional Service Bargaining Unit, unrepresented. In the event that all the time, or wait, excuse me, in the event that all of the items on the closed session agenda have not been deliberated in the time provided, the city council may continue the closed session at the end of the regular scheduled meeting, city council meeting. So with that, we are in closed session. We are at the Lemoore City Council Chambers, 429 C Street, May 18th. Please silence all electronic devices as a courtesy to those in attendance. Thank you very much. And we're going to go ahead and we'll stand for the invocation. And then at the end of it, please stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor Frank.
Our gracious God, we are so blessed just to be able to meet tonight. I thank you for the leadership in this room, for the caring individuals that are here. We pray for unity. We pray for wisdom. Father, thank you for the service they give to this community. Thank you for our first responders, for our policemen, for the work they do. We're just grateful, Father, to be a part of a community that still invites prayer into a public forum like this. We just thank you and give you all the praise in Christ's name. Amen.
Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Orr,
Here.
Councilmember Gornick, Councilmember Cheney,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Matthews,
Here.
Mayor Lyon.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, so we do have a quorum. Closed session report.
Nothing to report, Mayor and Council.
Okay. Agenda approval additions and or deletions. There are none. Public comment. Public comment will be in accordance with the attached policy. This time is reserved for members of the audience to address the city council on items of interest that are not on the agenda and are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. It is recommended that speakers limit their comments to 3 minutes each, and it's requested that no comments be made during this period of time on the agenda. The council is prohibited by law from taking any action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda. Prior to addressing the council, any handouts for council will be given to the city clerk for distribution to the council and appropriate staff. Do I have any public comment at this time? Okay. Please come forward and state your name and address.
Hello, council members and mayor. My name is Jennifer Solis, and my address is 757 Redwood Lane.
Jennifer, are you comfortable taking that off for?
Yes, is
comment?
that
Thank you.
easier to hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. So again, Jennifer Solis, address is 757 Redwood Lane. You haven't seen me in a while, but I've seen you on Zoom. So I really appreciate you offering that. And then I'm just now realizing I didn't ever probably say my name and the address properly on Zoom. So thank you for having grace on my missteps. I wanted to invite you to our Facebook Live Q&A. As we just kind of mentioned, it did get rescheduled. And not that you need to attend any of them, but if there's any subject you would like to talk about, I wanted to invite you to those. I asked Nathan to do these last year is when we started them because of the format of the council meetings is kind of how it got started. So during public comment, different people of the public will be talking kind of at you, and it's not necessarily a conversation. And there's obviously very little response because you're limited in what you can say, back. The actual one that I thought, well, what's the best one I've ever seen where it felt like a conversation? And I know Stuart will remember this. It was when you guys were deciding about the West Hills, the houses, the housing development over by West Hills, but it felt more like a conversation because when you guys went to vote, you at least kind of acknowledged the conflict that was happening in people and doing that. So it felt more like the conversation. And so I just kind of think about what's the goal? And if your goal is to hear more voices, from the public, if your goal is to get more people involved, then you have to make the effort to reach out. And the reason why I say you guys have to make the effort, unfortunately, it's on you. Unfortunately, it's not enough to say you're available because prior council members have been available, but it always hasn't gone. I don't know how to say it politely. I'm just really excited about this current set of council members. So, but my point is people love to tell stories. They love to share complaints. So if they're silent, it's because they didn't feel heard, right? I mean, you think about that. Like you look at nextdoor.com, you look at Facebook. If people are complaining, they're complaining. They're only silent if they don't feel heard. And I want them to feel heard. So I love this city. I appreciate you taking on the tough role to lead us. You guys are the head of the gate, and usually the first person through the gate gets bloody, and I appreciate you guys taking on that. So I hope you will join me in future Q&As. For anybody listening out there in the public, feel free to join us for the Q&As. Just pay attention to the City of Lemoore Facebook, and you can put questions on there, comments on there. And Nathan has been amazing to answer every little question I ask or they ask. No question is too dumb. No issue is too big. We just want to get more people involved. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other public comment? None? Seeing none, moving on to ceremony presentation. And there's no ceremonies or presentations. So department and city manager reports.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. We'll start tonight with Mr. Frank Rivera.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I have a few things to report on. Last council meeting, I mentioned that we were going to start the speed hump project on Oakdale. Speed humps got installed last Monday. So now we're just waiting for the final striping and signage to go up, which should happen this week. Also, I mentioned that the TTHM was kicking off. So the last 2 weeks went well, went through the commissioning and startup process. Things seem to be working fine. We just have a little snag with our SCADA, which are scheduled to be here tomorrow, which basically integrate our communication with our new system with our all, but things are going fairly well out there. The other is Lennar had requested us to permit them for a at-risk grading permit. So we're prepared to issue a at-risk grading permit. They just have to provide us a swept plan, dust control, typical stuff that we require, but they are eager and ready to go. So I would think within the next couple of weeks, they'll be moving dirt east of West Hills on College Avenue. And then we're just kind of completing the final pavement projects for this summer. We hope to pave 19th Avenue, or actually Bush Street from 19th to 19th and a half. And then we've got Hanford Mona Road from about Highway 41 down to not quite to Fox, but you see there's some cracking going on. So we're going to address that along with our annual slurry projects. That's it.
Frank, I got a question for you. A lot of people have been asking me, and I swore I'd do it. The telephone pole that's in the intersection, I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
When is that going to be moved?
So that is up to PG&E. I hear they're close. So it's part of the elementary school project. All of those poles are going to get moved underground, so you won't see any poles from that intersection all the way down to the new subdivision. They're all going underground, but it's up to PG&E and their schedule. So I'm
Okay.
hoping within the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, that's it for department reports besides myself. The RFQs for the golf course were due today at 4 p.m. As of 4 p.m., we did receive 4 packets from 4 separate companies. So we'll start looking at those and start that process to bring forth the council if we come to an agreement on a lease with the most qualified. And we did receive some more information on the ARP funding, and it's difficult to read it out at best. So it's going to take us a while to get through that. So I know people are waiting to see what we're going to do, but we're going to need some time. So after budget, that'll be the main focus. Just with staff levels, we need to get through the budget first, and then we'll go through the ARP funds, but we'll be coming back to council with a plan here probably in the fall. Thank you.
Okay, so moving on to consent calendar. Items considered routine in nature are placed on the consent calendar. They will be considered and voted upon in one vote as one item unless a council member or a member of the public requests individual consideration. 3-1, approval of minutes, regular meeting, May 4th, 2021. 3-2, approval of a proclamation, I can't even say the word, recognizing Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department, LVFD's 100th anniversary. 3-3, approval of a budget amendment, the lighted stop signs, intersection of 19th Avenue and Cedar Lane. Would anybody on council like to pull any of the items 3-1 through 3-3?
I would like to pull 3-2, please.
Really? Okay.
Why are you surprised?
I would like to pull 3-3
3-3
for
also.
one question.
Okay. Would any of the public like to pull 3-1? No? No one wants to go over the minutes again, huh? All
I
right.
mean, if you like.
Marissa, you don't have anything from the public online, do you? Nope. Okay, so back to council it goes. So I need a motion to approve 3-1.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Mrs. Matthews. Okay, so Mrs. Matthews
Aye.
and Mr. Orth,
Aye.
Mr. Cheney.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. 3-1 passes. On to 3-2. So that is going to be the proclamation recognizing Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department, LVFD's 100th anniversary. So Mrs. Matthews, what was your question?
Actually, I just thought that it deserved to be read out loud. I think it definitely deserves at least that. So.
Okay, well, here you go. You can read it. All right, I'll read it for you.
Thank you.
Proclamation of the Mayor of City of Lemoore in recognition of Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department's 100th anniversary. The City of Lemoore hereby recognizes the 100th anniversary of Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department, LVFD, originating in 1921, enumerating the benefits to the citizens of Lemoore here in the following service recognition. Whereas LVFD has consistently entirely of community volunteers during the last 100 years. And whereas LVFD has consistently been rated in the top 5% of fire departments in the United States by the Insurance Service Office, ISO assessments, and LVFD members respond to 1,989 calls, emergency medical / fire calls on a 24/7 basis in 2020. And LVFD members contribute hundreds of volunteer hours in service training and community involvement, including the annual Lemoore Christmas tree, school presentations, and various community celebrations. And LVFD members uphold the many traditions and commemorate the distinguished LVFD, which in turn promotes the unity and loyalty as an asset of public service to the citizens of Lemoore. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Lemoore does hereby recognize and extend appreciation to our dedicated and skilled volunteers of the Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department. And be it further proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Lemoore on this day, May 18th, 2021, that the Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department be recognized for their outstanding and dedicated service contributions to the City of Lemoore on their 100th anniversary. In witness whereof I, Stuart Lyons, Mayor of the City of Lemoore, have set my hand and caused the seal of the city to be affixed this 18th day of May 2021. Signed by Stuart Lyons, the mayor.
That would have been weird if I read it.
Yeah, I know. I get that now. So with that being said, let's open it to public comment. Is there any public comment on this? No, okay. How about this? There's going to be public comment on this. Mr. Alvin, can you come up and say something at least as helping author this with me? Thank you.
No pressure.
I think the resolution did not mention the financial aspects of volunteer services to the community. I sat in that chair for a while on this council, and I have a pretty good knowledge of the money saved, not only for the city, which translates to the taxpayers, but also homeowners and your insurance policies. So being in the top 5% of the nation does enhance your homeowners insurance policies. So the fire department has really been good for Lemoore in terms of the financial considerations that also needed to be said. So I will say that in my lifetime, I've done some good things and some things that not so good. But I consider my participation in the fire department as being one of my crown jewels, you might say. The camaraderie and the spirit that department has is special. And they give uncounted hours, not just for responding, but training times and just getting together to enjoy each other's company. It is a very, very good organization. And Lemoore is rightly proud of the organization of the Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department. Thank you for your acknowledgements. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alvin. Is there any other public comment? Oh, look at that. Another one. Talked it out of them. Mr. German?
I am not as eloquent as he is, but just like him, we're following his footsteps. Ron, how long have you been out of the fire department?
Well, at least 20 years.
We talked about that the other night and you couldn't remember. Yeah. Yeah. But we're following his footsteps. These guys have taught us how we're supposed to do things and how we're supposed to act. And that's where we're at. I will say our actual 100th anniversary is August 3rd of this year. And that is actually a Tuesday night for us to be out drilling. So it's kind of appropriate that we're going to be out there on the 100th anniversary date of when it was created. So again, thanks all of you. I am the 13th fire chief. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's been up and down, but it's been a pleasure to be part of this. Thanks.
Thanks, Bruce. Any other public comment? Okay, bring it back to council. Does council have any comment on this?
I just want to say thank you for all that you do for our city and our citizens.
I too want to thank you guys. You guys work really, really hard. You guys have saved us millions of dollars. And we really do appreciate all your hard work that you guys do.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll say a little bit. I'll be honest with you, I got a little choked up reading that thing. It wasn't quite easy, especially with those guys sitting over there. And I know everyone at home can't see the hundreds in attendance here. And it's, it's hard to talk in front of that many people sometimes, especially when you're reading big words and stuff. Nonetheless, I'm going to look for a motion to accept our proclamation.
I'll make a motion.
And I will second it.
Mrs. Matthews? Mrs. Matthews?
Aye.
Mr. Orth?
Aye.
Mr. Cheney?
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Proclamation passes. And on to 3-3, approval of the budget adjustment for a lighted stop sign at the intersection of 19th Avenue and Cedar Lane. Who's going to take that?
So that was mine. So Mr. Orth, what may I ask for you?
4 signs, right?
Yes.
It was, it sounded like there was only gonna be 2 signs, but maybe being.
No, there's 4, one on each. Yeah, one on each corner.
Yeah,
It's
that's
gonna be
what I
30 by
figured.
30 LED lighted. And then Public Streets is also taking care. There was a street sign removed several years ago when they did some ADA upgrades and the sign or the street light never got replaced. So we've got we're gonna be putting another street light there as well.
Cool. About how long?
Street light's on its way, and the lighted signs are on order. So it just, we're at the mercy when we get them. I would suspect we'll have them probably in time for school to get out.
Cool. Thank you. That's all I got.
I have a quick question. Are those signs, is that with the one red light or is it like the one with all the, like the blingy lights around it?
It's the outline
Okay,
around the stop sign.
Yeah, like the one out there coming into town.
gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess, does any public have a comment on 3-3? No? Okay, seeing none. Marissa, do you have any online? No? Okay. Let's bring it back to council. So I will entertain a motion to approve 3-3.
Motion.
Mr. Orth, I need a second. Mr. Cheney. So Mr. Orth,
Yes.
Mr. Cheney,
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. 3-3 passes. So now that we're through the consent calendar, we're on to public hearing. Seeing none, we're on to no new business and no new business there as well. That takes us to the brief city council reports and requests. Mr. Orth.
Hello, I just want to say I attended the Kings County Peace Officers Memorial Service last Wednesday. The city of Corcoran put it on. There was a host city. There was a lot of law enforcement out there, a lot of us. The chief got to speak. It was really, really nice. They did a really good thing for Jonathan Diaz. It worked out really good. Good times. I'd like to thank the negotiation teams, Miss Lerner and Mrs. Beard. You guys did a great job and everything's working good. And want to thank all the city workers. You guys are out there working hard on our behalf. We appreciate that. The police, you guys are doing a great job as normal. You guys turned a bad situation on Mother's Day into a safe situation. And I'd like to also give a shout out to the police officers who, I don't know if they passed the hat or did whatever to help Vineyard Inn. I don't know exactly how that went down, but I thought that was pretty great gesture from the police department to try to recoup funds to a restaurant that on Mother's Day that had to be shut down for an incident that happened at the hotel. That was awesome. Fire department, you guys are awesome. You guys save us, like I said earlier, millions of dollars, and we can't do it without us. You guys are invaluable to our city. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Cheney.
So thank my heroes at the police department and the fire department. Well deserved, as well as the assistant city manager and the city attorney. I know they've done a lot of hard work, and they need to be commended for their diligence and their efforts. So that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Cheney. Mrs. Matthews.
I want to thank again the Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department. I won't go on because you guys' heads are already getting really big tonight. So thank you for everything that you, is this guy's really, but thank you for everything you do. The police department as well. You guys are awesome with everything that you do to keep our community safe. And then how you step up in the community above and beyond that is great. We appreciate that. Also, just a couple of events. Lemoore Downtown Merchants are having an event on May 28th. Downtown from 5 to 9, there'll be live music and outdoor dining. So that's, yay, things happening downtown. 4th of July, 5K run, 3K walk. There wasn't a lot of information about that I saw, but I'm sure that'll be coming out soon. I did attend the ceremony ice cream social, which seemed like it was a big hit. There was a lot of people there. It was a perfect night for that too, great weather. Also, just to touch on the Lemoore High School Sober Grad Party for 2021. Just want to thank all of the businesses, community members, everyone that stepped up for donations. They were having a rough time coming up with the last amount of funds that they thought they had, and turned out they didn't. We had some businesses in our community that really stepped up to the plate and made a huge difference there, kind of with even making this happen or not happen. So I want to thank those companies that stepped up and did that. They're still in need of volunteers for the actual event. So if anybody's interested in volunteering for that, you can go to the Sober Grad Party 2021 Facebook page, or you can email ssilvera2016@yahoo.com if you're interested in helping out with that. That's their next hurdle, is to get enough volunteers for that.
Is that going to be like a Zoom thing?
No, that's in person.
Oh, in real life?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
They
All right.
get to have that. That's great.
Oh, you're done? I'm sorry.
I could go on if you like.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Matthews. So, did you want to say something, Ms. Folsom?
Well, Ms. Matthews covered most of it, but we did have kind of a little 911 moment on Friday, as she mentioned, some funding. So made a couple calls, but a lot of people have donated, but there was some big donations that came in from some of our cannabis companies, NHC, Valley Pure, and People's Farming, all within 10 minutes of sending out a notice to them, replied and brought funds in today. So
Right on.
So when people want to know what our cannabis partners do for the city, they do respond in time of need.
Yeah, good to know those things. Okay, well, and I'll take us out with, I want to thank the police department for doing their thing, the fire department for doing theirs. Our city staff, we just got done with, some serious business, which was not easy, and thank you for that. And thank you too for that over there. I'm not saying no names tonight. And I also did an event with KCO the other day where the fire department allowed me with a couple of firefighters. We took a fire truck out and we were at the park over on Hanford Mona Road. What park is that? I forgot the name of it. Heritage? Yeah. So we were at Heritage Park and we passed out free food to some of the public. And that was, good things. And with that, I don't know. That's about it. That's all I have. Thank you, everybody, for doing your part. We adjourn.